You have probably asked yourself, with a heavy heart, why doesn't God answer my prayers? Maybe you prayed with faith, with tears, with persistence, and yet nothing happened the way you expected. But here is the first truth that changes everything. God always answers our prayers. Always. The problem is that He does not always answer in the way we imagine. In the letter to the Hebrews, it is written, "Without faith it is impossible to please God, because He rewards those who seek Him." In other words, God rewards love. The greater the charity in the heart, the more deeply the prayer is heard. And God answers our prayers in 4 ways. First, He says yes, and you receive exactly what you asked for. Second, He says no, because you asked wrongly or because it would harm you, like a father who does not hand a sharp knife to his child. Third, He says not yet. You are not ready to receive what you asked for. God first wants to transform you. Fourth, He gives you something greater. You ask for one thing, and God prepares something infinitely better. And here comes a powerful example. In the Confessions, Saint Augustine tells how his mother, Saint Monica, spent the entire night praying, weeping, begging God that he would not travel. The next day, he traveled anyway. It seemed that God had not listened, but God heard the core of her prayer, the center, the essential part. Because on that journey, Augustine would meet Saint Ambrose, who would become the instrument of his conversion. God did not grant the detail, but He granted the essential. The same happened with Saint Paul. In the second letter to the Corinthians, he says that 3 times he begged God to remove a thorn in the flesh. And God answered, "My grace is sufficient for you." God did not remove the suffering. He gave something greater, holiness. And the highest example of all is found in the Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus Himself prayed, "Father, take this cup away from me." But then He added, "Not my will, but yours be done." And this is where we understand everything. God has already decided from all eternity the gifts He wants to give us. But He chose to give them through our prayers, not because He needs information about what we need, but because He wants to enlarge our hearts. Saint Augustine once said, "God makes us ask because what He wants to give is so great that our hearts are too small to receive it." That is why prayer does not change God. Prayer changes you. So the next time it seems that God has not answered your prayer, remember, maybe He said yes, maybe He said no, maybe He said not yet, or maybe He's preparing something far greater. But one thing is certain: God always hears the prayer of those who pray with faith, humility, and perseverance.